All right, we've got Paul Brodie with us in the studio, who is on trial right now, and we're going to go live to the press conference right now. Paul, what happened in the game? You had that opportunity to score the touchdown on the last minute, and what happened, man?
Well, I was sitting in the stands, so I'm not sure why they expected me to score the touchdown.
This is true.
This
is true.
And then I walked in the door, and they said, sit behind that table with the microphone and start talking to us. I have no idea what's going on. Confused.
Yeah. Well, listen, if you get pissed off, you unclip your lapel microphone.
Okay.
You throw it over the shoulder, and you just walk the hell out.
Walk out? All right.
Yeah. What's going on, pal?
I'm not wearing a lapel microphone.
I know you're not. I know.
That's what's going on.
Welcome back, man. Last time you were in here, we were talking about Christmas music, and I'm so glad you're back.
A lot of people expressed concern about your state of mind after that. They were concerned for you.
Yeah.
Legitimately concerned because your behavior and thoughts were erratic.
Erratic or well-founded?
Unsettling.
Really?
That's the feedback I received. I'm not sure what you received. Right.
I had so much fun with that. We got to do that again.
Yeah,
man.
sure.
I want to start, we need to go into an environment where we can, throw things and, throw pumpkin pie at each other and things like that, just to get the frustration of certain Christmas songs out.
Right.
I'm so glad you're here, bud.
Thank you.
Welcome back, man. What the hell day is it today anyway? Tuesday?
Tuesday, 28th December, 2021.
Was Christmas okay
It was fantastic.
for the Paul Brodie family?
Great. Yeah. I loved every minute of it.
With all 17 of your kids?
Mm-hmm.
They're all running around?
All of them. Yep.
Wow. All 17 of them.
17 of them.
My God, I don't know how you did it. Listen, I as a licensed alcohol and addiction counselor.
Close.
Damn it. What is it?
Licensed alcohol and drug counselor.
Thank you.
Same idea, though. Yeah.
You and I have been chatting on social media a little bit, and I'm like, dude, I got to get you in because one of the headlines that I read is day drinking. Experts say rise in at-home drinking is becoming its own epidemic right now. We are 2 years into the COVID-19 era, and we're about to get hit with an epidemic, apparently, of a different sort, and it's time to get prepared for this. We've got a whole hell of a lot of alcohol consumption, among other things, recreational drugs, that are just a way of life now for people. And folks that really weren't big drinkers prior to COVID or even tried drugs are getting into it now. What do you think is going to happen to what's your thought on this? Do you think we're headed down a slippery slope here? Do you think that the Paul Brodies that we're going to need more licensed drug and alcohol experts to be part of our culture?
It's an interesting question that I want to sit and think about for a long time before I answer. But I won't do that.
Well, please do, because you're on the press conference.
I'll just say something without thinking through it at all. So that's what we do. I don't think that we need more licensed professionals. I think we need less licensed professionals in overall. So I guess I'm going meta on you instead of answering your specific question.
Please do. No, that's okay.
Stepping back and looking at the bigger picture. I would argue that a lot of the trying to be careful. I'm picking up a new thing, trying to be more careful with my words than I have in the past. Yeah.
Is this like a New Year's resolution?
No, it's just I don't need a day to change for the better.
Yeah.
I've never been. I think for New Year's resolutions, I'd rather look at the last year and see what did I accomplish, rather than look forward and say what should I plan on doing this year. What did I accomplish last year? So
I love that.
Forget the resolutions. Look back on your accomplishments. That'll be more motivational. But
I love that.
But anyway, it's just I've really been diving into the Tao Te Ching over the last month. Been listening to that, and I forget what the specific wording is. But essentially, he who knows doesn't or speaks less, and he who speaks much doesn't know, or something like that, something to that effect. But it's like the idea of the wise man remains silent, and the foolish man speaks, kind of thing. So I'm trying to adopt that into my life a little bit more. But I don't do very well
Wow.
at it. I still
Wow.
talk a lot. But so I'm trying. I want to answer your question, but I want to say it in a way that's more meaningful. But I overall, I think that it's the clinicalization of things and the looking to experts and all this stuff. All of that puts this emphasis on external factors and takes away from the internal. I think we need to focus on ourselves. And so, sure, there's people that are drinking at home now where they didn't before. Is that a pandemic? Is that an epidemic in its own way? Is that is that affecting things? I don't know. Do we need more counselors? I don't know. It depends on what I don't know. I don't think so. I'm sure they're going to. That's going to sell papers, though. It sells news. It's more fear. It's more fear.
Well, the average, cul-de-sac kitchen or a living room, I think in some people's homes has kind of turned into maybe a little. I don't want to say bar. I don't want to say that, but
speakeasy.
Yeah, that would be much more accurate.
Right.
I don't know, man. And I've noticed at a few friends' houses that a bottle of Jack is sitting on the counter. There has been at my house too. We'll get a little nipper going every now and then, but we will do so responsibly after Lily's gone to bed. And but I just there's a whole lot of stress that so many of us are dealing with. I mean, I dare to find one person out there that's not dealing with the aftermath of, I mean, I think many of us dealt with the extended lockdowns, but now we've got kids home from school. We've got folks trying to work from home, maybe folks not working at all. We have parents in assisted living or nursing homes. There is a shit ton of stress that we're dealing with, and yours truly included here. And I'm just wondering the long-term aftermath of this, and if it's going to turn. I think so many of us are going to be different in the way that we go about living the rest of our lives. I do. And I think that there are going to be some sectors of our culture that are going to maybe spring back to what they were, and I think others not so much. But I wonder about people and how that's going to be. Our interactions and where we're going to be with our headspace when we're home, when we're home, while we're at home, and we're spending. It just seems like more and more of us are spending a hell of a lot more time at home with our thoughts, whether it be loneliness. I mean, what was it? 33 million people were alone through the holidays this year. I don't know.
So when you hear something like that, 33 million people were alone for the holidays, what does that make you? How do you respond to that? What's the imagery that gives you?
The imagery is folks sitting at home either without a Christmas tree or any kind of Christmas lights or any kind of Christmas cheer. Whether they're aging, whether their family is just divided up, and loneliness. You're staring at me.
I'm thinking.
You're listening.
I'm listening and thinking.
And there's just I don't know.
I get so where I'm going is we don't know what that means. We don't know what that looks like. That's your assumption. So you think
it is my assumption.
So you're taking. I think you're taking the bait.
I'm
not saying that everything's perfect and everything's great, but
I want you to say that.
When we read these stories, they're out there to sell something. They're trying to sell something, and they want to draw people in, and fear does that really well. And so they painted this picture that, everyone's alone. 33 million people are alone. There was one semester in between semesters when I was in college. I was out in Idaho, and I didn't come home for Christmas. And that was the first time I wasn't home for Christmas. And well, I guess I only missed Christmas a few times over my years. I was 27 or 28 at that time, and I loved it. I had a great time. I was by myself. All my roommates were gone. The whole that city was basically the college. And so it was like the population cut in half. I didn't see anybody. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
For like a whole week and a half, there was nobody around. And on Christmas, I talked to my parents on the phone, or we might have done a web chat or something. It was 2008, 2009, so I don't know if we were doing that back then. But I watched a bunch of movies, listened to all that music that we talked about.
Yeah.
I made sugar cookies. I did all my normal Christmas traditions, and they were different.
Yeah.
But I was sitting there playing computer games and playing guitar and just watching Christmas movies, and it was fine. I was alone physically, but I wasn't alone. I wasn't experiencing loneliness, I guess I would say. And so there's a lot of people that by choice are alone and not lonely. And I don't, where did they come up with these numbers? 33 million people.
Yeah.
That's 10% of the country. So they're saying 1 out of 10 people was alone for Christmas. But were 1 out of 10 people suffering in loneliness, or were 1 out of 10 people alone and comfortable? We don't know. And what does it matter anyway?
I remember a few years ago, I was alone for Christmas and spent the day snowshoeing with my dog, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
I loved it. So
But
peaceful.
that's not the immediate thought that you had when you read 33 million people are alone
Yeah.
for Christmas. You didn't go, I was alone for Christmas one time and it was great.
Yeah.
You immediately went to the suffering.
Yeah. I just wonder about mankind and how we are all doing out there. I think that stress coupled with remote learning, remote working, the family dynamic is stressful. I only have one kid. I don't have 17 like you.
Right.
And
I don't have 17 like me. I couldn't imagine how I would do it. How I do it.
Oh, was it 7 or 17?
Yes, it was.
Oh,
it was
somewhere
4,
in there.
Right.
4.
Yeah.
4. Oh, it was way off.
You were so close, though.
I don't know. I don't know how you do it, man. I mean, I really don't. I mean, it's.
You just do it. I don't know either.
Jeez.
4 is nothing compared to some people. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But I know what I feel what you're saying with the stress increase and stuff. I mean, change. It's changing our routines. Changing the routine, whether it's good change or bad change, it creates stress.
Yeah.
And stress, whether it's good stress or bad stress, it has a physical impact on the body.
Right.
So when we're experiencing that together collectively, and it's going to have lasting impact. And whether it's good or bad, we can't tell. There's not enough information. It's the parable of the farmer.
Sure.
You get into that. We don't know. There's not enough information right now to know is this a good thing or a bad thing. But we know it's a thing, and we know it's going to change the way we act. Now, some people are going to adapt really quickly, and it won't feel like anything. And some people are going to be impacted forever by it because it's changed our routines.
Yeah. I just dropped a link on here in the comments of a story, some study just being done that 9 in 10 home workers are drinking alcohol on the job.
Mm-hmm.
Surprised by that?
No. I mean, I talked to them. I talked to some of those 9 out of 10.
It's like an all day happy hour.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm talking about with the routine change, right? So if you've set a rule for yourself that I will only drink when I'm home after hours, as some of your responsible drinking pattern in your life, you don't drive after you drink, you don't go out and drink, you don't put yourself in a situation where alcohol is going to impair your judgment and put you or others in harm's way. And then all of a sudden you're home all day. Right. You're forced to be home all day. And then all that stress that we're talking about, the changes in your routine, now if alcohol has been a way that you deal with that stress, but you had it curtailed or contained to a 3-hour block every evening or maybe only on weekends, anytime you had to get up the next morning and drive to your office, you wouldn't drink, and now you never have to get up and drive to the office the next morning. Well, your safety plan has fallen apart. And most of us probably didn't hit the pandemic and go, okay, my routine is changing. What do I need to change in my personal rules to keep up with whatever I was doing that I want to continue with now that everything else has changed? We don't do that. And so now you find yourself working from home, which now you're socially isolated.
Yeah.
You're not getting the interactions with people that you were previously. Maybe you feel, I don't know how to do my job if I'm not in my office. Or maybe you don't have a job at all to do when you're home. So all these things increase the stress. What do you do to relieve that? You don't have the natural outlets. You can't go to a movie. You can't go to a certain sporting event or a concert, or you can't go out to eat. You can't do a lot of the things you were doing previously to manage it.
Yep.
And then there's all the fear.
Yes.
About the virus itself and all of that, and the misinformation being put out everywhere, the politicization.
Yeah.
The politics stuff?
Politicization.
Politicization.
Yeah, the politics stuff.
Politicalization? I don't
Yeah.
know. But right, but all that stuff.
Politicalization.
There you go.
Woo!
10 points.
Got it!
I need a bell, too. If I'm going to sit all the way over here, bell back and forth. Right, so all that stuff combines together, and now you don't have that built-in safety zone. So maybe some people were hanging on just by a thread.
Sure.
That needing to go to work structure was enough to keep them from drinking all day long, and now that's gone. And so it slowly comes back in. They have that drink at 4 o'clock, but they're not technically off the clock until 5, and then that worked. It was okay. So now, well, maybe I'll start at 3, or maybe I'm having lunch. No, this lunch really a beer goes really well with this. So now they're drinking at lunchtime. And it's okay, in a way, because nobody else is being impacted by it. And then they're starting back into a heavier drinking routine, and they're waking up. I need a drink first thing in the morning, and then they're drinking all day or whatever. That's an extreme case, but that's happened. I've met with people that's the exact way it happened for them.
Really?
This, yeah. I mean, that's anecdotal. 2 or 3 people in my own personal experience, but there are people that are going through that right now, and there's people that aren't. There's people that haven't had any kind of negative impact in their lives from the pandemic.
And and I think there's other habits that we can get into if we're working from home that aren't necessarily great in the interest of our own best health, such as you know that you're going to be at home tomorrow. So you may stay up a little later and do some binge watching, knowing that when you're on the clock tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, you can fall out of bed at 1:15 in your pajamas,
right,
with your hair undone, and bang, you're on the clock.
Or that if by 9:30 you're struggling to stay awake, you can run and take a nap real quick.
Yeah.
And you don't have any meetings scheduled. You don't have any phone calls scheduled. You
or
can let it go to
break.
voicemail, and you can say, I was in with a client or whatever. Yeah, there's there's a lot more you can do.
A little siesta.
Yeah. Nobody's there watching you.
Right.
So I'm sure that's happening. So we talk about theft from your employer as far as time. It's probably happening quite a bit.
Right.
Because there's nobody.
Productivity. Oh my God. I mean, it's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
So, are you finding an uptick? I mean, you're booked right now?
No.
You're not.
No, I'm not. This is one of my favorite things.
That's interesting.
One of my favorite things. A couple months ago, it's been a while now. I guess it was earlier this year. Somebody had called me to schedule an appointment, and we scheduled something for like 2 days later, and he was surprised at how fast I was able to schedule him. And then I hope I'm not. This isn't identifying. There's no way you could possibly. This person might know who I'm talking about, but no one else would. But then someone in their life said he must not be a very good counselor if he can get you in that fast. Everybody's booked these days, and I thought that was funny. I don't care. I don't take things personally, so it doesn't matter to me. But that's the perception. Because everybody is busy. People call me and I answer the phone. I can't believe you answered the phone. They're just going through Psychology Today, calling counselors. They got to get in for an assessment. They're looking for someone. They want to find someone, or whatever. And so they're looking, and they're surprised when I answer the phone or call them back. I'm sure I'm not the only one that has availability and calls people back, but I hear it often that people aren't answering the phone or aren't even returning messages.
Yeah.
And when they do get in touch with somebody, they're full. But I don't know. I've always got availability.
And
I can always see more people.
Your practice is right here in the Granite City.
Yeah.
Right
down
here
the street.
in Barron.
Yep.
Wow. Blanchard Block.
Yep, Blanchard Block.
Wow.
I don't know. I like to think that I'm available for when people really need the people who need me. Because I'm not going to fit for everybody.
Yeah.
There's people listening to this. They probably say, "Oh, Paul Brodie," and turn it off. They don't want to even listen to it. They don't want to hear me. I don't know.
How could that be possible?
I don't know.
How would
everyone's got different preferences? But I'm my own presentation. It's a different method. It's a different approach. Some people don't like it. That's great. It's fine. Some people do. Some people don't. That's fine. But so I feel like when people who will understand, who will appreciate my approach, when they need me, I'm available, and I'm fine. I mean, I'm not rich, but I'm surviving business-wise.
Shocker. Neither am I.
No, I know. Most of us aren't, except Raylene, right?
Raylene, on the other hand,
sitting on stacks of cash.
Yeah, Raylene's filthy rich.
I mean, from the business perspective, I could always be busier, but that's not my focus. So that's an element of it.
But you and I both love what we do.
Oh yeah, and that's why it doesn't matter what the rest of it is, and that's what it's been hard for me to get to in my own personal awareness or self-development or whatever you want to call it. My journey is to not worry about money so much, and I don't have more of it, but I stopped worrying about it, and now I'm happier, and I enjoy life more. And because it's not about that. So here's the question.
That's easier said than done, brother.
Oh yeah, it took me years. It's taken me years. I occasionally still struggle with it, but sometimes when I've got it worked out, I know how many sessions I need to have to get business oriented here. I know how many sessions I need to have in a month to pay all my bills.
Right.
I have a session, I get reimbursed from an insurance company, I pay my bills. And I know how many I need to have. And if I don't have that many, then I know, okay, I'm not going to have that money. How am I going to get through, you know?
Yeah.
And so when I'm falling short from that mark months in a row, it gets scary. But I just stopped worrying about it. I don't have more sessions, but somehow things are working out. So
Do you think that what's the number one drug? Is it alcohol or is it
no, it's sugar or caffeine? I think caffeine, like officially caffeine, I think is the number one. But because you got to look at what are you talking about? Are you talking about dependency inducing? Are you talking about social impact? Are you talking about monetary impact, physical harm to yourself, to other people? So sugar is probably the most prevalent and most damaging to the body, because it's in everything and everyone's eating it.
I've heard it so much.
But I think caffeine is considered the most widely used drug out there.
Yeah.
But what's the most dangerous? Alcohol. Alcohol is by far the most dangerous. There's nothing positive that comes from that in the body. I mean, it releases endorphins. It's your body's painkillers.
I just saw a podcast the other day that I was listening to with the earbuds in the kitchen about alcohol and what it does to your body is absolutely
there's
amazing.
A little vignette. Someone gave me a copy of it years ago. Alcohol is a solvent, so it dissolves things. And so it's talking about how it dissolves your relationships, dissolves your self-confidence, dissolves your finances.
Dissolves your liver.
Yeah, literally dissolves and figuratively dissolves everything in your life. If people want to drink it, that's your choice. I don't care. I'm not saying it's good or bad, whatever.
Yeah,
but it's not. It doesn't benefit your body. Mm-hmm. It does damage to your body when you drink it. Can you drink a little bit and minimize the damages? Sure.
Yeah.
Everything we eat. Well, everything nowadays we eat probably is damaging our bodies in some way because the food is so degraded. But
Sherilyn was telling me that in England, there's no high fructose corn syrup.
Oh, really?
It doesn't exist. And here, it's like it's in everything, man.
I've seen that. There's a couple different substances like that, like food ingredients that in other countries they're banned, but the U.S. FDA says, nah, it's fine.
Right.
Death, nah, it's fine.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, a mild cold? Shut it down.
Oh, right.
None of you can have jobs anymore. Yeah. You can only shop at Walmart and eat at Domino's. Close all the local restaurants. Close all the local stores.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting political.
No, it's quite all right. Quite all right.
No, yeah, but you think about that kind of stuff. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Why do we allow what we allow and prohibit what we prohibit and all this stuff? And who's benefiting from it? I mean, Bill Gates. What's the deal? What's going on with Bill Gates? This guy, I just read an article. He says that the pandemic could be over in a couple months. It could be over by the end of 2022. But first, we're going to have this surge, and it's going to last 3 months. And I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Did he get a doctorate in whatever this virology? Is he a medical doctor?
Yeah.
He's got the money. Why didn't he go to school for it? If this is what he's interested in, why didn't he go to school for it? At least give him some kind of social proof, some credibility. But he's got no credibility. Yeah. He stole No, I'm not going to say it.
No,
that's the story you hear. He stole his Microsoft software from his partner, and it makes this big business. And he gets punished by the United States government for monopolizing. And so he starts as part of his punishment, he starts this Gavi, or the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, I guess was what he started, because he was violating monopoly laws or something like that, some kind of financial laws. And so then he creates this charitable organization.
Yeah.
He didn't do it because he's charitable. He did it because it was his punishment.
Right.
But it's just like, but this guy, he's everywhere. He's paying for all the media companies, putting all kinds of money behind and stuff. So who is he?
Yeah.
Why does he get to determine this?
But
now he's saying when the pandemic will end.
Yeah.
This guy.
You know when we're going to find out about Bill Gates?
When Ghislaine Maxwell starts talking.
Oh, my God.
That's what we're going to
Have
find
you
out.
watched any of that?
Nah.
Holy crap, dude. I don't think she's going to talk.
Nah, she probably won't make it.
Her dad.
I don't know anything about her dad.
Her dad started Maxwell House Coffee.
Oh, really?
Yes. Learned that last night. But yeah, man, we're going to find out about Bill Gates after he's dead.
Yeah.
That's when everything is going to shake down, and we're going to find out everything.
He's an interesting character in all of this. He's a real life Monty Burns from The Simpsons, but he's an interesting player and all of it. And he's not responsible for anything by himself. But it's just interesting. I think people don't look into any of this. They don't ask questions. They don't say, why is this guy the voice, the face of the pandemic? Why is he the one that's behind all this? He doesn't own a vaccine company. He's not a pharmaceutical guy.
Right.
Why is he involved with this?
Josh just wrote, when money is no longer a concern, people go for attention and power.
No, yeah. Right. Yeah.
Do you think, first of all, do you counsel anyone who is currently, and maybe you can't answer this question, that's fine. That's
You want names?
No, that's addicted to marijuana.
Yes,
and have you in the past?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. You don't see it frequently. Mm-hmm. You see a lot of use of marijuana. So it comes down to what is addiction and what is dependence. So, like, do you meet the criteria for a diagnosis? Yeah. And not very many people meet the diagnosis the criteria for a diagnosis of cannabis use disorder. Sure. But there are people that do, and there are people that come to see me because they feel like they're using it in a way that's not beneficial in their life.
Do you hate the word gateway? Or not necessarily?
I don't hate the word gateway because I think it's functional.
You do.
I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to make a joke, but I didn't get there fast enough. No, I don't hate the word gateway. I think that I don't think cannabis is a gateway drug.
You don't?
Because that's what you're bringing up.
That's
no,
what
of course
I was going
not.
to ask you. No.
I think that.
What about alcohol?
Well, alcohol's. No, I think pharmaceuticals are gateway drugs. I would see Adderall as a gateway drug more than I would see cannabis or alcohol. So the thing with cannabis is that cannabis is usually someone's first exposure to the illicit drugs in the past, the illegal stuff. Cannabis was usually the first one. Alcohol was probably the first one for a lot of people too. Yeah. Because there's a lot of families that seem to be okay with 8-year-olds drinking alcohol, or at least not being aware of it happening, which is I don't understand that, but it happens a lot. Yeah. But cannabis happens a lot. Usually middle school age, people are out there and experiencing that. And so by gateway, I don't think there's something like you put a substance in your body and all of a sudden you want all these other substances. I don't think it works that way. But if you're 13 years old and you start smoking pot with your buddies, it's going to put you around people, potentially. It'll put you around people who might have other things.
Other things, yeah.
And so that's where it's a gateway, is that it introduces you to a culture, a subculture, because our culture at large has villainized these things and made them illegal. You can't get it in the open. You have to go to the black market. Yeah. And so then you're going to meet people that might not have your best interest at heart and might expose you to other things. So that's where that can be a gateway, I guess. But I don't see drugs and alcohol and all stuff. That's not the cause. That's a symptom. The behavior, the substance use is a symptom of something underlying. And so for me, it's spiritual disconnect or self-disconnect. That's what I call it. But you've got attachment issues, you've got trauma issues, you've got depression and anxiety. If that's the cause, it doesn't matter what your drug is. I mean, like you said before, binge watching late at night. Right. If you watch a season in 6 or 7 hour season of the new series of something, it comes out and the next day you've watched them all, maybe that's a problem. Yeah. Maybe not, but maybe it is. But if you're spending hours
I did
on
have
end,
a little. Raylene and I and Sherilyn, the three of us had a little. At one point in our lives, we had a little Ozark problem, which they put the kibosh on it for a little while, but we're.
I have a therapy for that. It's Arrested Development. It's like it, but not the same. You know what I'm saying?
Tell me.
Watch Arrested Development.
All right.
No, the TV show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll
Jason
that'll
Bateman. Yeah,
that,
because it's a replacement drug. Yeah,
all right.
for your Ozark problem. That joke didn't land either.
Yeah, no, it didn't. No, it didn't.
Dying up here.
I'm delayed. What can I say?
I guess so. Too much peanut butter last night, huh?
Dude,
Mine's a little, the peanut butter fog going on this morning.
Peanut butter right here, bud. I'm not kidding. I got a jug of peanut butter
When you have your drugs stashed around your office, there might be a problem.
Do you know? Not joking here. I'm telling you and Raylene both at the same time. Do you know what was one of the gifts underneath my Christmas tree was?
Big tub of peanut butter?
Big tub. 4 pounds. Nice. It's 4 pounds.
Perfect.
And then, you said something to me. You're like, it's not the peanuts that's the problem. Mm-hmm. It's the sugar that's in the peanut butter.
Yeah. Well, and if we're talking addiction, it's not the peanut butter itself. It's the reason why you're eating it and how fast you eat. I mean, if that 4 pounds lasts you a year, I don't know what a healthy amount of peanut butter is, but that's probably okay.
Yeah.
But if you eat that all in a weekend, then maybe that's the problem. And then it doesn't matter what the drug is. It matters why you're doing it. So why are you eating 4 pounds of peanut butter in a weekend? That would be the question. If you're not in a competitive eating scenario, then that's probably not healthy.
So I'm going to throw some words at you, and I'm wondering which of these is, in your opinion,
we just switch to a 1960s era game show?
No, I'm just trying to get you away from the peanut butter because you're getting
do a word association
some neurons that are firing.
I'm getting too personal for you.
Caffeine.
Yeah.
Sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Cocaine.
Yep.
Alcohol.
Stimulants.
Alcohol.
Depressant.
Alcohol.
What are we doing here? Am I doing a word association? You want me just to listen?
No, just listen to the counselor here. Alcohol, cocaine, sugar, caffeine, marijuana, opioids. I could come up with a few more. Which one is the most addicting, do you think?
Do I think?
Yeah.
Based on
Personal
my own personal opinion? Sugar.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. That's my own personal opinion. It's not based on anything.
Oh, I forgot one. Smoking.
Yeah.
Smoking.
Well, so in my exam for my license, for my LADC license, one of the questions was which is the most
addictive?
Addictive or dependence-inducing, I forget what wording they used, chemical. And nicotine, according to the test, nicotine was the most, so according to the literature at the time, nicotine was the most out of your list. I choose sugar because, so there's another thing, a book I read years ago on addiction. For addictions to take place, there's 3 A's: anonymity, affordability, and accessibility. And so those 3 things can lend themselves to addiction or help to strengthen the addiction or whatever. And so with sugar, you have that. Nobody sees it as a problem. You walk into a store, you buy a candy bar. You could go down the street and buy 1 candy bar at every store and have 15 by in 20 minutes, and nobody knows you just bought 15 candy bars.
Right.
But you did. You could do the same thing with beer. You could walk in every store. You could buy a 6-pack at 4 different places, go home and drink them all in one night, and nobody at one of those stores goes, "Oh, this guy's got a crazy problem. He drank all those, 4 6-packs in one night."
True.
They think he got a 6-pack, whatever. So that's there with sugar. The accessibility, so anonymity, because nobody knows you're doing it. Nobody sees it as a problem usually.
Yeah.
It's not socially a problem. The
closet
accessibility, and then the affordability. It's so cheap. I mean, you can go.
Yeah.
You buy a 5-pound bag of sugar for $3 or something.
Sure.
So if you really want to just go right into it, just get a spoon like Homer Simpson and eat out of.
Sure.
Marge, he was sad. I forget what episode of Marge asked him. He was sad and he's eating a bag of flour with a spoon. And she says, "Would you like your sugar bag?" And he's, "I don't deserve it." It's so funny. He's eating flour.
I've seen the meme,
but
not that episode. But that's wow, man, that's fascinating. Sugar, holy shit! Well, it's in everything, man.
Yeah,
I mean, it's in everything.
Everything.
Especially beverages, man. It's like, my God.
Yeah, you don't need it. Yeah, I mean, well,
wow.
And then like you brought up the corn syrup. I mean, that's not even natural sugar.
Yeah.
So the problem with refined sugar, as I understand it, is that when you go through this process of refining, you're taking out certain naturally occurring minerals
Yes.
and things that help to that need to be present in order for the body to digest it.
Right.
And so when you don't have those present with it when you're digesting it, you can't really your body can't process it properly.
Yeah.
And so it ends up extracting those nutrients from, so if you eat a meal with sugar and then with certain, I don't want to say because I don't remember what they are specifically, but certain vitamins and minerals that need to be present in order to digest the sugar.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, it's going to pull it out of whatever you're eating or your body already. And so it's actually like an anti-nutrient. It's not only not giving you anything beneficial, but it's taking beneficial things away from you.
Sure.
So it's really damaging to the body.
When Lily was a baby, we've heard similar such discussions about sugar. I think it was Food Inc. maybe that we watched. I can't remember the documentary. That might have been it. But when Lily was a baby, we were observant of her reaction to sugar, to sweets, and her reaction being told no. And still today, at 7 years old, I mean, to watch the way she reacts is absolutely amazing. I mean, for example, today was a particularly good day for Lily. She was behaving. There's a little bit of an expectation there for a reward of what?
Right.
Sugar.
Yeah.
Ice cream. It's the go-to. And to tell someone, and to see the look of joy, the euphoria on the face with the ice cream cone being handed and the first taste. I mean, if I'm in the car and she's in the back and she's getting into the ice cream, it doesn't matter anymore what kind of music I'm listening to. It doesn't matter if there's a horrible snowstorm that's kicked up. It doesn't matter. She is in her own world. It's just her and the ice cream cone.
Right. She eats that ice cream. The sugar activates the nucleus accumbens. She gets the reward in her brain. She's happy. And then you look in the rearview mirror. You see her enjoying it. Then you get that same chemical high in your brain because you just see the joy in her face and you go, I made her happy.
Yes.
And then you bing. And so now you want to give her, she wants ice cream again because she's getting the reward. Now you want to give her ice cream again because you're getting the reward of seeing her happy. And so this is how it happens.
And I've rewarded her because she, quote, deserved it.
Right. Yeah, we're all screwed up. What are you going to do?
Wicked, though.
No, it's terrible, and that's why I think sugar's so dangerous because we don't think about it in these contexts. If you had given, if she deserved a reward and you gave her a beer, that would be socially unacceptable,
right,
and unhealthy, right?
And,
to say the least.
And somewhat illegal,
right? Yeah, it wouldn't. Nobody would approve that.
Sure,
most people wouldn't approve that. But you give her a candy bar. There's plenty of people who won't approve that either because they're more advanced in the eating habits than I am, and but a lot of people would think that we all do that. I do it. I'm struggling with that myself. I hate it.
Yeah, it's like the brain chemistry of what's going on. The neurons or whatever the hell they're called that are firing and wiring when you've got chocolate or peanut butter or ice cream. Or peanut butter and ice cream. Oh my God! Have you ever done that? Holy crap! Cheese, yes. I mean, it's amazing. We go into this euphoric state, and when she hasn't been well behaved and asks for ice cream, and I say no, that's catastrophic. That's huge.
Right.
If you use it as leverage. That's big time, man.
Yep.
I mean, you'd think I'd be cutting off a finger.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised.
We do it to ourselves too.
Yeah.
And that's how I grew up. My dad would buy donuts or ice cream or something. My parents were always paycheck to paycheck, broke kind of stuff, and so I think that was his drug of choice was sugar. And so when he had the money, when he get paid, that's when he'd buy stuff. So it seemed like it was a rare thing to get a box of donuts or something like that. Probably not as rare as it should have been, but it was rare enough that became something to look forward to. And So I think that's where I developed my addiction to sugar. I mean, we all get it from something, but like,
Right.
or at least from some of the emotional element of it.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, like, there's dependence and there's addiction. Addiction, I think, usually requires some emotional element in there. But sugar that's my go-to.
Yeah.
It's been
And food, I see we've got Overeaters Anonymous organizations in pretty much every sector of our society.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever see that? You ever see folks addicted to food or overeating?
Oh, everybody's overeating. But I haven't had anybody come in like professionally seeking assistance on food disorders. It's not. I think it shares a lot of similarities with addiction or substance use and stuff, but it's not under the same purview.
I mean, look at the
Officially.
things that we can get addicted to: gambling, porn. It's
Anything
not
that activates reward centers in the brain.
Yeah.
So anything that you associate with reward centers in the brain, like, if you give your daughter ice cream and then you see the joy in her face and that makes you feel good, then you might be more likely. It's just basic conditioning. If you have a positive experience with it, you're more likely to repeat that experience or whatever caused it. Positive response to the stimulus, you're more likely to repeat it. And so
That's amazing.
potentially you become addicted to. I don't think they're going to make that like a clinical level, but maybe we become so rather than use the word addiction, let's use the word conditioned. So you become conditioned to reward your daughter.
Yeah.
To see that response in her.
Yes.
Not because of her, but because of you.
Yeah.
Because you like the way it feels.
Right.
That's the way we do these things. We do all these things. We do it because we like the way it feels.
Well,
we help other
also
people.
there's some
get a reward.
consequences to being asked for it and saying no.
Yeah, right. So that's what conditioning. You either want to repeat the behavior or you want to discontinue a behavior. So that's where you apply something good or take away something bad in order to either repeat or to prevent something from recurring.
Moderation is the key and the hardest thing to teach and learn.
When we live in a culture of excess, yeah. And when we don't, if I wish that, so I've got 4 kids, not 17. That's a rumor, some crazy rumor going around town. I got 17 kids. I don't have 17 kids. I have 4. And the youngest is 3. She's almost 3.
Oh.
And sometimes I regret that I've introduced them all to my poor eating habits because I'm working focused on trying to improve it, intermittent fasting and approaching keto light, I would say, but just trying to understand nutrition. And I'm not saying that's the best way to go, but I'm experimenting with that one to see how it works for me. But just being more attentive to what I eat rather than just eating because it's something to do or eating because I want the drug reaction. I think most of us use drugs.
Mindless
we don't
eating.
eat. Yeah, exactly. Mindfulness is the answer to all things mindless. But we don't eat, we get high. Most of us. We're doing it to get high. And so if I have been my whole life.
What a statement. That is a profound statement right there, dude.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Wow.
There's a lot to unpack. I don't know. But yeah, but I do that. At least, so I'll say for me specifically, I eat to get high in a lot of cases. So by doing intermittent fasting, which is not to restrict your calories, but to restrict your time in which you eat. So for me, I've had success doing like a 6-hour eating window. So 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. I eat in those hours. I drink water the rest of the day. No calories intake between 12 and 6. And that's what I do. And it's great.
What time are you going to bed at night?
Between 9:30 and 10.
How the hell are you making it from 6 o'clock to 9:30, 10 o'clock at night without having any food? How do you do it, Paul Brodie?
Practice. Where's my little taxi meter for my counseling? I think we're in session right now. I got to start charging you. That seemed a little too personal. Nah, it's practice. When I first started intermittent fasting was good for me, and I started because of the sugar. So I was doing this was a couple years ago when I first started this. One of my efforts to try and reduce my processed sugar intake was to switch over to dried fruit. Still an unhealthy amount of sugar in that, but in my mind, it's natural.
A different kind of sugar.
It's a different kind of sugar. Maybe. I don't know. It's the same. It's still going to hurt my liver. But, because a lot of this started 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with gallstones and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
Yeah.
So my liver was as bad as someone who's been drinking alcohol for years and years and years.
Wow.
Because I eat poorly. was eating too much sugar and stuff. And so a lot of Americans have this situation.
Oh, hell yeah.
And they don't realize it. They have, non-symptom gallstones or whatever, whatever they call it. I forget the official name. But it's because our livers are bad, because we're eating too much junk. So most of the food we eat isn't food.
Yeah.
It's processed stuff. You go to a grocery store, the food is on the outside. It has to be kept refrigerated. Because if it's food and it's not refrigerated, if it's not cold, then other things want to eat it. And that's why it spoils. And so the stuff that's shelf-stable has had all the food removed out of it so that it will last, or certain things applied to it so that it will last. And those things damage the nutritional qualities. So if you're shopping and you're spending most of your time in the inner section of the grocery store, you're probably not getting a lot of food. You're getting a lot of processed stuff, which are drugs, in my opinion. Only my opinion. I'm not a nutritionist. I don't know anything. Yeah. I'm just exploring my own stuff. I'm a human being just like everybody else. We're all on the same human level. So that's where I'm coming from. It's just my opinions. Whatever that's worth for anybody. But.
Yeah. Raylene will lecture to me. You know what that is right there, right? Yeah, it's meatballs. Well, that's processed. And I hear it all the time. It's not easy to stay away from the processed shit.
Not when you're addicted to it. So when I
started, can you hit me across the head with a baseball bat, and then I can wake up and I'm not addicted to this stuff?
Figuratively, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to right now. So when I started intermittent fasting, I don't know if I'm going to. I'm just going to tell you my story because I want to talk about me for now. So when I started intermittent fasting, I was trying to get off the sugar, and it was difficult. And that first week took a lot of effort to say, I'm not going to eat until 12 p.m. Ooh. I'd be really hungry. I'd get up in the morning hungry, and I'd want to eat something, especially sugar, but I'm not going to eat until 12. And then when 12 would roll around, I would think, okay, now I can eat. Now, where are the cookies? Where's the donuts? Where's the ice cream? Because that's what I was craving. But because I was sticking to this plan, I had enough willpower to not. I said, okay, well, I'm only going to eat for 6 hours today, and I'm still in the mindset that I need to eat all day because that's what I grew up believing. That's what we all think. We got to eat 3 meals a day. You don't have to. You don't have to eat all day. We don't have to graze. Some people say that's the healthier way to be. I don't know. There's different beliefs on that. Maybe different body types, different needs. I don't know. But for me,
I think the verdict's still out on that.
But so I would say if I'm only going to eat this limited time in the day, I'm going to eat stuff that's valuable to my body. And so it changed my thinking. It took some time to get used to that, and it was difficult, and I was hungry a lot. But after a week or two, that goes away, and you really start to look at it. Well, I started to look at it differently. Like, food is fuel.
Yeah.
And I want to put good fuel into my machine so it runs properly. You never put water in your gas tank. Mm-hmm. Why? Because you know it's not going to help your car. But you put water, the equivalent to what water would do to your gas tank in our bodies all the time. We put non-food into our bodies all the time and then wonder why they're not performing at optimal levels. Why are we overweight? Why aren't we sleeping properly? Why do we have headaches all day long? Why are we socially anxious? Why are we depressed? Because your body's not healthy. Your machine's not being taken care of. And so if you can take care of there's all kinds of research being done right now on the gut biome. It's everywhere. There's probiotics, prebiotics, all this information. So much of our health is determined from our gut bacteria.
Yeah.
They run us.
God, I've heard so much about that.
Yeah.
And with the new year coming, we're all going to go out and get the master cleanse and shit ourselves for...
Well, there's that commercial.
It's true, though.
There's that commercial for some...
Eileen, it's true.
We're
going to be on the toilet for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
We're going to lose 10 pounds.
Have you seen Zoo Poo?
No, what's Zoo Poo?
I don't know. I see a commercial on YouTube. This guy's created some kind of supplements, and he's got one called Zoo Poo. He says there's the average human's got 6 pounds of feces in them carrying around all the time.
Yeah, the lining of the colon.
Impacted in their colon.
Yeah.
And it's just sitting there forever.
Yeah.
And so he's got this, he's got this, I guess, some kind of
cleans it all
or
out.
Something. I don't know. Yeah, it's supposed to push it out. It's probably some prebiotic, probiotic mix. But
Raylene's getting upset over here.
Huh? Sometimes we get upset at things that hit a little too close to home.
We said the P word. We said poo.
Oh, we said poo. That's one of those things you can't say on TV,
on
radio,
on podcast?
Can't
say poo here. No poo here. Dude, this is all fascinating stuff.
How did we get here?
When the hell are you going to write this all down, man?
Everybody else did. Why do I need to write it down?
Well,
if you want, go to Dr. Berg on YouTube.
I was going to ask you.
That's where I like him a lot. And what is it called? Intuitive Health? I mean, there's plenty. There's all kinds of nutrition. And so
I've seen Dr. Berg
I love them.
Yeah.
That was where when I had the gallstones, I didn't know what a gallbladder was. I'm 34 years old. They said to me I got gallstones. I didn't know what a gallbladder was, what its function was, or anything like that. So I went home and I did all kinds of research that weekend, and I checked a whole bunch of sources. And what I found with Dr. Berg, he seemed to check out against the journal articles and stuff like that. I sometimes look at scholarly things.
Yeah.
And he seemed to check out. So I've stuck with him ever since. I like him, but I've seen people argue that he doesn't know what he's doing or whatever. Who cares? I don't know. You can find someone that speaks to you and keep doing it. But I think you experiment with it yourself.
Yeah.
I follow his nutritional advice, and I feel better, so I'm sticking with that.
Interesting.
But I like him a lot.
We just stopped off at BJ's last night, and they've taken all of the protein shakes, powders, weight loss supplements, and such, and they've pulled them right to the front of the store. So when you walk in, there's a wall of that shit right in front of you, along with exercise bikes and cross trainers and all this stuff.
Yep.
Fitbits.
And then all the soda is on sale. All the chips are on sale.
But out back.
Right. They're down the way, but they're on sale.
Right.
So.
What do you say to and also right next to the protein powders, all the nicotine stuff.
Yeah.
The patches
NRT.
and what do you say to folks that are putting all of the heaps and heaps and heaps of pressure on themselves right now, saying, "Oh my God, there's only a few days left, and I'm not, this year was shit, and next year is I'm gonna stop smoking, I'm gonna stop drinking, enough is enough. I'm getting the nicotine patch. I'm gonna start working out. I'm gonna stop drinking booze, cold turkey. It's a new me." Pow, resolutions. What do you say to those folks right now?
I'll put it in a rhyme. What we resist persists. So a lot of that stuff is coming from a place of fear and resistance, not willing to accept what's going on for yourself right now. And so that's a difficult one to say because it's very subjective. What's the difference between saying someone's resisting it or really wanting to make the change? So that's a tough one, but that's my initial reaction to that is that we want to change these things because we don't like the way they're impacting us, because we don't accept them. We don't accept that we like it. And that's like, you might enjoy drinking, you might enjoy smoking, you might enjoy eating poorly, you might enjoy these things. You probably do. I do. The eating poorly, I don't do the other ones, but I enjoy eating poorly.
Yeah.
It tastes good. It makes me feel good for 10 seconds.
Right.
But I accept that about myself, and so then I'm able to move past it. So it's I don't know how to phrase it right now, but what there's that, I mean, that little rhyme exists for a reason. What we resist persists, and so we can't resist. We have to accept.
We're going to lose 50 pounds by June 1st.
Yeah.
It's got to go. June 1st.
So, and this with Dr. Berg, if you want to do that, follow Dr. Berg's advice. I think it works. He's got a lot of testimonials of people that are doing it, and it's working for them. But what he says is don't lose weight to get healthy to lose weight. And so that's just a more holistic approach to it. Rather than say, I need to lose 15 pounds, you say, I need to lose sugar from my diet. And then as you focus on changing your diet, your body's going to respond naturally. Again, when you're not feeding your machine proper fuel, it's not going to perform at optimal desired level, whatever. Yeah. So if you're trying, how are you going to lose the weight? You're going to follow some fad. You're going to change your behavior in some radical way that's not going to last. Or that's why if you can adopt reasonable behavioral change or thought change, then you can do it. Dr. Joe Dispenza, he said, your friend, he says that we can either change, I think I said this last time, you can change in suffering or you can change in joy. Whatever the situation is, you can make a change, but oftentimes we don't feel motivated to move until we're suffering, and that's when we make the change. So can people make these New Year's resolutions and have them stick? Yeah, of course. If somebody wants to cold turkey quit, they can do it.
Yeah.
It's not often because we're not in the right mindset for it.
Right.
But you can
And
do it.
I think the average New Year's resolution lasts
Like 2 or 3 weeks.
I think it's
usually, I don't know.
somewhere. I've heard 60 days,
Okay.
For most Americans.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah. Great point. Man, it's fascinating talking to you. Always is.
Imagine being me. Ooh. Crazy in my head all the time. All these thoughts constant.
How can folks learn about you? I don't.
There's no need to learn about me.
You used to have a podcast. No
Yeah,
more. No
it
more.
still exists. I haven't updated it in months. I haven't felt the desire to record anything.
What's it called for people that want to find you on YouTube?
I don't remember.
You don't
It's called Imagine Moving On. Imagine Moving On. It's on Spotify. It used to be called Stop Recovering, Start Living, but then I changed it. But it's the same idea. And Stop Recovering, Start Living just means stop focusing on what you don't like anymore and focus on what you do like. If you don't want to be using drugs anymore, stop focusing on drugs and start focusing on what you do want in your life. But Imagine Moving On is the name of the podcast. If you want to, if what I'm saying sounds interesting, then look up Alan Watts, look up Joe Dispenza, look up Dr. Berg. There's a million people out there. Wayne Dyer. There's plenty of people out there that are talking about these things, and that's where I'm listening to them.
Yeah.
And I'm just regurgitating what I'm hearing from them. I'm taking it in, I'm putting it together, what this guy said, what that guy said, put it together, and then I say it. This is my opinion now.
It's amazing.
That's all this is opinion.
Yeah. And you do that very well.
Thank you.
You do that very well. You receive a lot of stuff, and you put it on the table, and you chew on it for a while, and you develop your own thoughts about it. And I love that about you, that you do that. I think more of us need to.
And why don't we?
Yeah.
But we get caught up in the social
what we're
labels.
told. What we're told.
Yeah, we're not supposed to. You're not supposed to speak on that situation. Like I'm railing against Bill Gates for getting out there and being the voice of all these things.
Yeah.
Where's his qualifications? But he doesn't need any qualifications. But this is why. But that's a different story than what I'm talking about. But we don't need qualifications, though.
Right.
We don't. He can talk about whatever he wants to. I welcome his opinion on any subject, anytime.
Yeah. Great.
But my issue is with the way it's presented, as though this guy's the voice for people when he's not. I don't know. Maybe whatever. But for us, for all of us, because he's no different than me. We're just people.
Right.
Resources don't mean anything. So none of this matters.
Right.
None of this. All of this stuff is the Matrix. This is the Matrix you see here.
This is the Matrix.
This is not real. It's not real. It's only real when you give it power. And so all of us are the same. All we got to do is talk and think and ask questions and figure out what works for you. We don't have to be quiet just because somebody tells you it's not your place to speak. I have to, like, professionally, I find myself saying this all the time. I don't, I'll talk about nutrition or something, but I'm a very conversational approach in my counseling and my jobs. Because that's what, we're just people. I'm not special. I'm just a person. And so I'm a resource of information. I study these things. You don't. You come and ask me about it. I'll tell you. How can, some guidance.
Right.
But I don't know anything. So we're just talking. And so I'll get into a topic like this, but I have to keep saying, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving you advice because, liabilities and stuff like that.
Right.
Because that's the world we live in.
Yeah,
but so what? We're just people. I'm a person just like you. If I say, hey, I stopped eating sugar and this is the benefit I had in my life.
Right. Factual.
I'm not saying you have to do it. What I'm saying, if you do it, maybe you'll have the same experience. I'm not giving you medical advice because they'll sue me for that. But because what if you stop eating sugar and you die and then they'll sue me? But it's up to you. We have to take more responsibility. Like I started out, the external stuff, that doesn't matter. It's internal. You've got to take responsibility for whatever you want in your life. What are you going to do? It's up to you. It's your choice. It's your life. You create your version of the Matrix, your dream.
And frankly, a new year shouldn't really work its way into that equation. It should be just time in itself alone.
Right.
What it is.
And that's why if you're changing because the calendar changed, there's nothing significant about that. So why would that stick?
Sure.
If you want to make a change related to calendars, then you should probably be studying astrology because there might be something to that.
Yeah.
Maybe your change should have happened on the solstice, not on the New Year's.
Yeah. Wow.
We don't follow the original calendar. Never mind. We don't get into it. There's more. There's more to this stuff that I don't know. Whatever. I don't care. Yeah. But astrology, there seems to be something there. And the calendar isn't based on that anymore. And so, like, what is a new month? It's arbitrary. Yeah. It doesn't follow the moons anymore. The cycles of there are natural cycles that happen that are in conjunction with the moon and stuff like that. And, that's not what the calendar's set up for. The calendar's set up just I don't know what it's set up for. It loosely follows the sun, I suppose.
Yes or no?
Or maybe not loosely. But.
Yes or no? Is the Earth flat?
What time is it?
Thank you for
I'm
coming
happy
in,
to
brother.
get into that. You want me to answer it?
You know what? I gotta
You
get.
wanna
I gotta
save
get
that for another time. What time is
We're
it?
gonna save it for another
save
time,
it for
but I
another
gotta
time?
get Dave in here.
Oh, it's 2:10. Oh wow.
I
gotta
gotta
go.
I gotta get Dave in here. It's gotta happen.
Who's Dave? Oh yeah, Dave Weiss. Yeah.
Yeah, gotta happen.
Do it.
Gotta happen.
Schedule
It
it.
has to. It has to. Thank you, Paul
yeah.
Brodie.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Love having you.
Thanks
here,
for
Dave.
ambushing me with a podcast show. I thought I was just coming down to talk. I didn't realize we're talking in front of the whole
You
world.
fell into my trap, my brother.
But I was happy to do it.
All right,
What a
man.
pleasant trap. Thank you for
Yeah.
inviting me.
Well, thanks for
Spider.
being here, Paul Brodie. Aired Out is always brought to you by our great supporting and presenting sponsors, and among them, Barslow Construction and Granite City MMA, Preston's Kia, Gauthier's Quality Grounds and Maintenance, Wright Electric, Wood Doodles, Donnybrook Fight Promotion, the Barry Montpelier Times Argus, ASB Financial, Vermont Custom Woodworking, CW Creative, Gustos, FGB Theaters, Barry Area Development, Central Vermont Chamber of Commerce, Salvador and Babbitt, Fecto Homes, Green Mountain Mulch, and Fontaine Forestry and Millworks. Have a great day, everybody. We'll catch you again real soon. Thanks to Paul Brodie, our guest this time around on Aired Out.